Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. From now until June 17th, if you use this promo code, you will automatically be entered into a drawing to win a Modern Horizons booster box. Also, there is a way to enter the drawing with no purchase necessary. See the description below for the full details. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and we have more Modern Horizons previews to take a look at today. As always, if you're curious as to the source of the cards, check out the description below. All the information will be there. Also, if you're still looking to pre-order a box of Modern Horizons, if you use that Heroes promo code at FlipsideGaming.com, you can get a box right now for $199.99. That does also support the channel, which is always appreciated, but with that being said, let's get into today's cards. This one is a Spanish language preview, and it is Battle Screech. On the left side, you see the original copy of the card there for translation purposes. Believe it or not, this card has never been reprinted. It was originally from Judgment. That copy will cost you around $5. The foil about $15, $16, so this is a nice inclusion. Now, even though this card has never been printed as a common in paper, it was a common on Magic Online, which means it is Pauper legal and does see play in Pauper. You'll find this in decks like Boros Aggro and Kuldotha Boros. I do think this card has modern potential. It just depends on the meta. I can't think of a current big deck that's looking for this, but again, things are going to change a lot with all these new cards coming into the format, so I do think it has a shot. King of the Pride. I love how they're taking advantage of the changelings to be able to give us some really cool lords. In this case, we get a cat lord. And this will be great if you want to play casual cats or commander cats. But in limited, yeah, you can use this with your changelings. It's going to give them a nice little boost. Not really a modern card or anything like that, but I do want to play with this casually for sure. Winds of Abandon. This is an interesting rare. The thing is, in Modern, I don't really see people playing this over, say, Path to Exile and or Settle the Wreckage, but it's an interesting option if nothing else. In Limited, this will be a bomb rare for you. Great piece of removal. You'll be happy to grab this. In Commander, if you overload this, this is a fantastic one-sided board sweep that exiles. Sure, it gives your opponents access to basic lands, but at that point, it might not matter. Archmage's Charm. This is a sweet card. I love cards that give you options, a little bit reminiscent of Cryptic Command. Now, I don't think this is going to replace Cryptic Command in Modern or anything like that, but I do think it could see some play in control decks, maybe sometimes alongside that card. I'm not too worried about the 3-on color because we know the Modern mana base can support that. So outside of Modern, do I play this? Maybe in Commander. I mean, that third option does let me steal Soul Ring. That's worth noting. And in Limited, this could be a good card for you there too, as long as your deck is comfortable with the 3 blue casting cost. Remember, Izzet has a drawing 2 cards matters theme. Scuttling Sliver. Here's another Sliver. Now, I don't feel like this is a competitive one. I'm not going to try to work this into, say, some Modern Sliver tribal build or anything necessarily. But I do think for the Commander Sliver deck, this will be fantastic. Training Grounds is typically in those builds. This is going to be awesome with Training Grounds. Mana Weft Sliver, Training Grounds, and this, that's a pretty nice combo too. And in Limited, it's another Sliver if you happen to go down that route. But most of the Sliver synergies are in Boros colors, so there might be times where this won't make your cut. Plague Engineer. This is, of course, kind of a play on Engineered Plague. That's a card that still sees some legacy sideboard play from time to time. This card is different. It's a creature, of course, which makes it a little more fragile, but the ability is not reciprocal this time. It only hits your opponent's things. That's pretty cool. I do think this will see some Modern play out of sideboards. It can deal with tribal synergies, most notably humans. Now, is this going to shut down the humans deck? No, of course not. That deck is very fast. It gets rolling, and once it's rolling, maybe it will slow it down, but this won't stop them. But if you can get this out early, maybe take out a Noble Hierarch, a Champion of the Parish, it could give you a little more momentum and maybe make some decks a little more competitive against that archetype. This is also a card you might want to consider playing in Commander if you have friends that play tribal builds. Limited, this is going to be good against Changelings, Ninjas, Slivers, and Goblins. We know there are a number of tribal strategies that are in the set. Sling Gang Lieutenant. Okay, this one's a little bit fragile. Not sold on it for Modern. I think it has maybe a slight chance, but it does have to be in a very specific type of deck. You'd have to get some kind of Rakdos low-curve Goblin deck to work in the format. If you can get there, then maybe this is a mid-range play that will let you put some damage over the top to win the game. Perhaps that deck could have a light Aristocrat strategy in there as well. If that's the case, maybe it gets there. Kind of a long shot, though. In Commander, kind of the same thing. You could play this in Goblin decks or Aristocrats decks like Judith the Scourge Diva. Limited, I do think this is going to be a fine card for you. Sure, like getting 3/3 power toughness on the battlefield for 4 isn't overwhelming, but considering there's going to be a number of goblins in these Rakdos colors as well as changelings, there are times this might get you past a board stall in the late game. Hollow Head Sliver. This one brings rummaging to the table, and there's nothing wrong with that. When it comes to Modern, I don't know if a Sliver deck can get there. Maybe it'll run a copy or two of this, but I'm really impressed with this for Commander more than anything. One of the issues with Sliver Commander decks today is sometimes you hit too many lands, not enough Slivers. This will let you rummage away those lands. Could be quite good there. This will also be good for you in Limited. We already know Boros colors are going to have a lot of Sliver strategies, it appears. So this could be an engine for you, especially in Draft. Orcish Hellraiser. This is actually a really good Limited card. It puts a lot of early pressure on a 3/2 for 2. Now, you do have an echo cost of 1 red, but even so, that's mitigated by the fact that if this does die, it deals 2 damage to target player or planeswalker. This will be a great Limited common, easy to pick up, and something I might want to try out in Pauper 2 in an aggressive build. Pillage. Alright, this is a reprint. You're probably familiar with it. This card has definitely had a reputation over the years. Came from Alliances. You also had an Arena promo, not that one. It was in Deck Masters, Premium Deck Series Fire and Lightning, 6th edition, 7th edition, and most recently Masters 25. This does see play sometimes in Pauper, Kuldotha Boros decks, not all the time, but some of the time. In Modern, there's already land destruction decks, and I think this card just makes those better, so I'm pretty sure it will see play there. Also, maybe out of sideboards, it might show up here or there just because of the versatility. This one's a Japanese language preview. It's a mythic Hex Drinker. It's like a baby Progenitus. How cute, right? So this has level up. I was never a huge fan of the level up mechanic. I don't like pouring all my resources into one card because something could go wrong. In this case, even if I do get to the 8+, it will have protection from everything, which is great, but it doesn't protect you against board sweeps because they don't target it. So that alone makes me feel like it's going to be a little too fragile for Modern. I'd at least want to try it though, maybe brew around some kind of ramp build or maybe a control build as a finisher, but I'm not completely sold on it. In Commander, you might be able to have some fun with this card. It might have the same weaknesses, sure, but you could play this with Doubling Season or Proliferate. Just throw it in the Atraxa deck with everything else. It could be good. Now, in Limited, yeah, I'm still going to play it. Now, sure, it is fragile when it enters the battlefield, and my opponent could take it out early on, or they could even hit it with a sorcery all the way up to level 7. Or they might just happen to have that board sweep if I do get it all the way up to level 8. Those things happen, but I'm going to take the risk. I do think the reward here does outweigh the risk. Springbloom Druid, this one's a little reminiscent of Harrow. It's an elf too, which is worth noting. I don't really feel this one for Modern though. Now, Commander Lands decks. Maybe I could add this to Titania Protector Vargoth or Lord Windgrace, for example. I do like this in Limited games though to help you with that Simic Snow strategy. If you need to find your snow basic lands, this will help you do that. Here's another mythic with Unbound Flourishing. Take this in for a second, right? This is kind of crazy. First thing I thought about immediately was Commander. Imagine playing like a Hydra Tribal deck. Play this with Pure Imaginative Rascal just generally. Helix Pinnacle could be fun too. The Genesis Wave family of spells become really good with this. So much you could do. In Modern, you could use this with Walking Ballista, Hangerback Walker. There are some competitive cards that would enjoy this. Now granted, putting this out and having it do nothing right away is not going to feel good. It only costs 3, but Modern is a very fast format. I'd want to test it out a little bit. There's a chance that it could be playable though. In Limited, you won't see this much, but it might be awkward if you don't have at least a few X spells or X effects for this. Fallen Shinobi. This is kind of based on Silent Blade Oni, and it's a zombie ninja. How about that, right? So I do think this is a little too expensive for Modern. Cool card, but I don't think it's going to quite get there in the format. Commander though, absolutely. Ninja Commander decks, those Yuriko decks will love this. And this is going to be a Limited bomb for you too if you happen to open it. Nature's Chant. Okay, so should this type of ability be white like Disenchant? Should it be green like Naturalize? Well, I guess the argument's over. Here you go. Hybrid, Nature's Chant, end of story. Okay, so in Modern, you do find Sundering Growth sometimes in sideboards. Not too often, but occasionally. If that card can make it, then it stands to reason this card will make it too. In Limited, these cards are typically sideboard cards, but it depends on the environment. In the past, I have been known to main deck a Disenchant or a Naturalize and be happy with it. Red and 6, here's that second Planeswalker, of course it's a Mythic, and it's very cheap, just a red and green. +1, return up to 1 target land card from your graveyard to your hand. The -1, okay, that's there. The -7's good, but I don't really like to evaluate a Planeswalker on the ultimate, it's not going to happen all that often. But I'll play this all day long for the +1. This could actually go into Legacy lands. I'd at least want to test it there. I think it's powerful enough. Modern Loam decks might use this, and you might actually be able to create a whole new Modern land deck using this as the anchor. That would not be out of the question. I really like this card. It works well with things like Seismic Assault, the new Oyola's Influence as well, which we saw yesterday. It could even combo with cycling lands that might be relevant. It kind of feels like a cheap Crucible of Worlds in some ways. In Commander, play this in the Lord Windgrace deck. The colors match up. It could be great there. And in Limited, you're not going to see this all the time being a Mythic, but those colors are the colors of lands in the graveyard matters. This will fit perfectly into the Gruul strategy. Farmstead Gleaner. I don't really feel this one for Modern, but I am happy to see a Scarecrow and the untap mechanic back. I think that's pretty sweet. In Limited, this will be fine for you. Maybe it doesn't always make your cut, honestly. It can get larger, but it starts out as a 2/2 for 3. I don't like that. And it does take a little finagling to get it bigger. Now, once it starts to grow, it might be hard to stop it, and it could start to jump ahead a little bit, but it's also going to tie up your mana, so you might not be playing other things that you could be playing. So it does feel like sort of a wash in that regard. There are some Commander decks where I might play this. It does combo with Grand Architect. And there are those decks out there that run Grand Architect and Pilipala already. Just throw this card in there. Lesser Masticore. Okay, the original Masticore was a good card when it came out. Over the years, though, it did not age very well. So if you're going to present a lesser Masticore, that doesn't sound too impressive. And it really isn't too impressive. Like, it might be fine for draft or sealed. It might not always make your cut, honestly, though. 2/2 for 2, I like the persist, that's nice. The ability is fine. I don't like that I have to discard a card, though, when I play it. Unless I have some way to make use of that card in my graveyard or recur it later, that just doesn't feel that great to me. I don't want to have that card disadvantage for this. Card disadvantage is never good, but if you can do something really, really powerful, sometimes that mitigates it. This is not really, really powerful. It could make your limited cut from time to time, but sometimes it'll be in your sideboard too. There are combos in Commander when it comes to the persist mechanic, but I still don't know if this is really worth your time. Sword of Truth and Justice. Okay, now we're talking. This is a mythic rare. Now, this is an artifact. Another one of the swords. I love these. Obviously, players love these cards. This, like all the swords, we'll see competitive play. You'll find this in Modern decks. You're going to find this maybe even in Legacy decks. This will be in a lot of Commander decks, I have no doubt, especially, again, Atraxa, because look at it, proliferates. Not only did they give you a sword, but they gave you one for your Atraxa deck. What more can you ask for? So, yeah, this thing's going to be awesome. It'll be fantastic if you're lucky enough to open it in draft or sealed as well. Doesn't commit you to any colors. It's always nice, and it's just got so much raw power behind it. And I hope someday, if it's this set or another set, that they finally do finish this cycle. All right, with that being said, those are the cards for today. Now, tomorrow, there are going to be some preview cards coming out in the afternoon. We're going to do our Market Watch video, though, and then what I'm going to try to do is take those cards from Saturday and do a video on Sunday recapping them. And then, of course, Monday, more previews will come out again. So until then, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page, as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.